Why has it been so long since we've heard from Humble Pie? I mean, it's been 6 months before anybody's really heard anything at all.
Well, we sort of thought that way back in sort of January when we first started rehearsing, we wanted to record an album and possibly a single, which we've got now, and then really work on a stage act so that by the time we came to play in front of the public, we hadn't just had sort of 2 rehearsals.
What can you tell us about the 2 lesser-known members of the group, Greg Ridley and Jerry Shirley, for example?
Well, Jerry, I met through Steve, sort of at the end of last year, when I was thinking of leaving the Herd, and I wanted a drummer, and I was going to form up with Jerry then. Jerry used to be with the Apostolic Intervention, I think that's correct, who sort of had a few records released, I think. But he's only 17 and he's known Steve since he was about 14, and he's an excellent drummer. Greg was with Spooky Tooth, and I'd never met until Steve suggested him, but I'd always liked his bass playing. And then we all sort of converged at Steve's the night that we decided, you know, that this was going to be the group. And we sort of had a sing and a play of a few tablas and guitars and things. And I suddenly realised that Greg's got an incredible voice as well. So he's, you know, it means that there's 3 great voices.
There's been a lot of talk about Humble Pie being a supergroup. I mean, do you think of yourself as a supergroup?
No, not at all. I hate the word because people sort of expect too much of you. If people realise that we're sort of better than anticipated, then that's great. But I don't want to be called a superstar.
What can you tell us about the musical style of Humble Pie? What kind of things are you doing?
Well, as always, it's very difficult to describe your own style. We sort of, that's why it was very difficult to choose a single, because we want something that's sort of like what we do all the time. But it's very difficult because we do acoustic type numbers, we do sort of organ and piano numbers, and 3 guitars and drums numbers, and then just sort of mainly vocal things. So it's very difficult. You know, we do a bit of everything.
Why did you decide to have Greg Ridley singing the lead on the single? I mean, I think a lot of people might have expected to hear yourself or Steve.
Well, actually, he only does the first verse, and I do the second verse, and Steve does the third verse. Then we all do the last verse. But, well, it's just a number where I could have sung the first verse, or Steve could, but that verse suited Greg best, you know.
People say, don't they now, that the pop manager has almost become defunct, and I mean, a lot of groups are managing themselves. Do you see the manager fulfilling a useful purpose to it?
Only if the manager is on virtually the same wavelength as the people in the group, because one thing that I have been through is virtually a manufactured group, and when you're told what to do and told what to say and told what to wear. I'm not saying that I knew what to say at the time, but I do think that wasn't the right thing, the right way to do it.
You're tuned to Top of the Pops, bringing you all the greatest sounds from London. And here's our latest supergroup, Humble Pie, with small-faced Stevie Marriott, Peter Frampton of The Herd, and Greg Ridley from Spooky Tooth. Let's hear it, fellas!
There she is again, stepping out of her limousine, looking like the cover of a $20 magazine. Yeah. She's got it where you find it, if you know what I mean. Yeah. She's a natural born woman, natural born woman, natural born woman. There she is again, watch her stop the main street in its tracks. Looking like real queen hair hanging down her back. 'Cause I said, don't look too long, boy, she'll make your glasses crack. natural born woman. Hey, yeah, natural born woman. Oh yeah, natural born woman. Well, I'm looking out my back door, wondering which place to go. Think I'll move on down to Memphis, pay my money, see a rock and roll show. Find me a sweet-eyed Susie, together we can lose control. Come on, hey, yeah. Natural born woman. Yeah. Natural born woman. Hey, natural born woman. Yeah.
Completing the lineup of Humble Pie, Jerry Shirley, and Natural Born Boogie was the number that's giving them their first hit.